Coming up, why the gun control bill passed yesterday in Florida Senate could still hit a roadblock in the House this week. Plus, what a new education bill means for the future of USF Sarasota Manatee's independence. And a former Sarasota doctor accused of lying to a patient about having cancer. And that's not all. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Our top story today at noon, Florida lawmakers try to find some common ground and changes to the state's gun laws. The state Senate approving the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act on Monday, but now the matter moves to the House. CNN's John Lawrence has the latest on the bill.
On Senate Bill 7026, the Secretary will unlock the board.
Floridians may soon have to be 21 years old before legally buying a gun. That's one of the rules in the bill the state Senate passed Monday. It would also establish a 3-day waiting period for most gun purchases, and it bans bump stocks.
We must be the last families to lose loved ones to mass murder in a school. This time must be different, and we demand action.
The measure passed the Senate by a narrow 20-18 margin and must pass the House before going to Governor Rick Scott's desk. Scott has issues with some parts of the proposal.
I don't believe in arming the teachers.
A spokeswoman for Scott says the governor will review the final bill before making a decision. Meanwhile, family and friends of victims of last month's fatal shooting rampage in Parkland are among those calling for change.
What we want to know here is how we're going to make our kids safe, going to school every day, and not just our kids, all of your kids and all your grandkids.
We're going to set the example in Florida so other states can follow. That's why, to me, it's so important that this bill gets passed. I don't want to stop in Florida. I'm not going to be the parent that stopped. I'm going to be the parent that's going to take it from here to the Pacific Coast.
Florida's legislature ends its session Friday. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A 20-year gambling deal between Florida and the Seminole Tribe of Florida is in the works. The House approved the bill. It's now moving through the Senate. If passed, the tribe will pay the state $3 billion over the next 7 years. Lawmakers have had trouble passing a gambling bill because of conflicts with gambling interests, but there's some renewed interest in passing a bill this year before a constitutional amendment on casinos goes before voters in the fall. Florida Senate also approving an education and voucher bill. If it becomes law, students who are victims of bullying and other types of violence can move to a different public school or receive a private school voucher. And all schools would be required to prominently display the words, "In God We Trust." Some Democrats are against the changes, saying it would create another voucher program that would divert money away from public schools. New details today. As part of that large education bill, USF's satellite campuses could lose their independent accreditation, including the Sarasota Manatee campus. GOP leaders say the plan will benefit both the St. Petersburg and Sarasota Manatee campuses financially by uniting their funds with the main USF campus in Tampa. But those against the plan say it will prevent the satellite campuses from getting part of the new preeminence funding USF is set to receive next year. The only lawmaker directly representing the Suncoast who voted against the plan, recently elected Democratic House member Margaret Good. Months after losing his license, a Sarasota doctor could be in more trouble, accused of defrauding a patient out of nearly $50,000. And worse, police say the man made his patient think he had a serious form of cancer when he did not. ABC 7's Ray Collins is just back from police department with more on the story. Ray?
Scott, police are accusing Ronald Wheeler of tricking a patient into thinking he had cancer and taking $46,000 in the process. Now, this is video police gave us during a search of the doctor's office in the Wells Fargo building on Main Street near Lynx a few months ago. Police say Wheeler convinced his patient he had an aggressive form of prostate cancer, and Wheeler, was the only person who could cure it. But he made the diagnosis without the required tissue biopsy, which is the minimal standard of care. A subsequent biopsy by another doctor showed the victim was cancer-free. Here's the police investigators' reaction.
Instilled fear, without a doubt, in this victim. The victim was absolutely convinced not only did he have prostate cancer, but he had what Dr. Wheeler told him was a very aggressive form of prostate cancer. And he kept that process of instilling fear up with this victim for a course of a year. In this case, this man was scared to death, literally.
And here's a twist. Police say Wheeler lost his license around the same time due to other malpractice cases, but didn't tell this victim. Police say there could be other victims out there. They charged him with scheme to defraud. Wheeler posted $50,000 bond and was released. I talked to his lawyer an hour ago, who refused comment. Scott?
All right, Ray, thank you. The court hearing for the 3 men charged in connection to a shark dragging wrapped up just a short time ago in a Hillsborough County courtroom in Tampa. Of the 3 men, only one appeared, Spencer Heinz. The other 2 both waived their appearance today. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission says the men were recorded dragging a shark behind their boat last June. Investigators say the shark was also unlawfully taken by spear gun. If convicted, they face up to 5 years in prison. At the hearing today, another case management was set for a later date.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Another successful launch for SpaceX, the 50th in the company's brief existence. The Falcon 9 rocket lifting off from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station around 12:30 this morning, putting a Spanish communications satellite into Earth's orbit. SpaceX founder Elon Musk says the satellite weighs 6 metric tons and is almost the size of a city bus. The satellite will provide television and broadband coverage to parts of Europe, North America, and Africa. There it goes, another one. They could not land the booster rocket out at sea because I guess the seas were just too rough. The platform would have been moving too much, yeah.
It's just amazing they can do it at all.
Oh, I know, yeah.
It's
incredible.
pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
And they did it in 7 years. They've got their 50th up there.
Pretty
amazing.
quick, yeah.
Took NASA, what, 11 years? So
yeah.
They're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Doing pretty good. We've got some changing weather coming up over the next 24 hours, I think. Some very pretty weather this morning, that's for sure. Lakewood Ranch webcam put it in motion shows nice blue sky out there. A few fair weather clouds will start to build during the second half of the day, I think, and we'll probably see a pretty cloudy overnight sky. In fact, we even have a chance at some showers starting around midnight, but certainly by tomorrow morning, I think there'll be some showers, maybe even a thunderstorm or 2 around. Local temperatures responding to the sunshine. We're at 71 now. Started out the morning at 48 degrees. So we've come quite a ways so far, and we've still got more to go. We'll probably add another 4 or 5 degrees onto that. And in inland areas, we could certainly in some places see the 80-degree mark. Winds now all out of the south, which is kind of important for the forecast today. That southerly wind is going to allow our temperatures to kind of get pretty warm out there today compared to what is normal for this time of year. Titan radar not showing any rainfall now, but boy, just to the north of us, there are plenty of rain showers out there, and those rain showers will be headed our way. So we'll put in a forecast that calls for a 50% chance of showers by around midnight tonight, thereabouts, maybe a little less than that. And then as we head into the dawn hours, I think that that rain chance will almost double. So we'll talk about that, talk about the potential for severe weather along the west coast of Florida coming up in just a few. Scott?
Okay, John, thank you. The number of hit-and-run crashes statewide and here on the Sun Coast continues to go up. Florida Highway Patrol holding a press conference earlier today to get the word out about staying at the scene of an accident. ABC 7's Marla Spence joins us now live from FHP's station on State Road 70 in Bradenton with more. Marla?
Yes, Scott, state troopers with the Florida Highway Patrol are continuing to stress the importance of staying at the scene of an accident. Troopers have been on a statewide tour, and today they're in Bradenton to continue their mission of lowering the number of hit and runs. Just in 2017 alone, the state had more than 98,000 hit and runs. In Sarasota County, there were more than 1,300. In Manatee County, also more than 1,300 hit and run crashes. Lieutenant Greg Bueno with FHP tells us these hit and runs are a combination of deadly hit and runs involving injuries, or hit and runs involving property damage. He tells us whatever type of accident it is illegal to leave the scene of an accident. A hit and run involving a death is a felony of first degree and carries a heavy penalty of 30 years in prison. Recently, FHP launched a program to help solve hit and runs right here on the Sun Coast.
In this past year, the Florida Highway Patrol has dedicated a trooper that his main duties are to do nothing but follow up on hit and run traffic leads. And that has been very successful to date. Since March of last year, he has himself solved over 80 cases in our local region.
We're told on average that Trooper is solving 2 to 3 cases a week. Troopers with FHP tells us for whatever reason a person decides to leave an accident, whether it's not having a valid driver's license or not having valid insurance or simply being scared, those are not valid reasons at all to leave the scene of an accident. Lieutenant Greg Bueno says that the FHP is doing as much as they can to eliminate these hit and run crashes. He says by doing the right thing, that can cost you less fines and less penalties. He's also urging drivers, if they see a hit and run, to dial 911 or star FHP. Reporting live in Bradenton, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Marla, thank you so much. Here in Florida, Miami Beach police are trying a new approach to keep spring breakers under control. They're adding DJ to their resume, and while they're playing tunes, they're keeping an eye out on the crowds.
Throughout, not only are they playing music, but they're giving safety messaging, the do's and don'ts, how to stay safe here on Miami Beach. And a big thing that we're encouraging people to do is clean up after themselves.
Police hope by crashing the party with music, they'll be able to keep the crowds mindful and under control. Still to come in your Suncoast News, a burger flipping robot that's turning a lot of heads in California. And how quick thinking from police and firefighters saved a choking puppy.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC 7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Florida Studio Theater presents Native Gardens. Stately gardens and cultures clash, turning friendly neighbors into feuding adversaries. When a disagreement over a long-standing fence spirals into an all-out comedic battle of taste, privilege, and entitlement, no one comes out smelling like a rose. Critics are calling Native Gardens timeless as well as timely, smart and first-rate. Audience are calling it one of the best. Native Gardens is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
It was a very calm and quiet start to the day, but it was a little chilly out there. We got this great photo sent in by Cindy Desmond, frequent contributor of lake fog, which is it's created by the same sort of mechanisms as sea fog, but it sure is pretty. One of my favorite things. Really beautiful in the morning. If you've ever been out there like kayaking in the dawn hours when that fog forms, really just exquisitely peaceful and still. Beautiful thing. Thank you for sending that in, Cindy. Lido Beach last night. Beautiful sunset there. That's gorgeous. And then a setting sun sent in by Kurt from Longboat Key last night. I think tonight we'll probably see a few more clouds around. That because of a frontal boundary approaching, but a sunset period should be just fine. I think those clouds will really start to roll in probably around 10, 11, 12 o'clock. We'll start to see cloudy skies begin to form. 68 degrees, Longboat Key, 72 at Lakewood Ranch. Parrish coming in at 73, so is Bradenton. Sarasota at 71, Venice at 71, 70 in Inglewood, 72 in Northport. And inland temperature system a little bit warmer there, coming in at 73 degrees in Myakka and Wauchula and Arcadia. We'll probably see some of those inland temperatures get pretty close to the 80-degree mark today. Along the coastline, maybe just a tad bit cooler, as some of these beaches do have a kind of southerly component to their orientation, and so with that wind coming up out of the south, it might get a little bit of a cooling effect right along the immediate coastline. Current conditions outside, as I mentioned, 71 degrees at the airport. Dew point value is rising. We talked about this morning on the Sunrise Show, how dew points which were in the 40s would probably end up in the upper 50s. Maybe even see some dew points that could perhaps approach the upper 60s over the next 12 hours or so, thanks to that southwest wind coming in now at about 11. As we look at the forecast for the day, I'll go with about 76 degrees for a daytime high today around 3 o'clock. A fair amount of sunshine out there. Shouldn't be too bad. It should be a nice evening as well, 72 degrees. And then as we head into the evening, we'll start to see those temperatures decrease to about 70. Kind of hold around there, I would think. And then we'll see a chance of rainfall beginning to increase pretty quickly thanks to a southerly flow to this frontal boundary. That's a pretty potent frontal boundary, actually. Sinking southward, the clouds will begin to increase, and this frontal boundary associated with this cold front will continue to sink southward. The timing of this storm, like I think said, about after midnight, we have a chance of seeing some of those showers, but it's mostly tomorrow morning when the best chance of those showers will occur. Between about 3 and I'd say 3 and 7 o'clock in the morning is a good shot at seeing some thunderstorms around, possibly some stronger storms. Cool on Thursday, and this area outlined in green right here is a location that's given a marginal chance of some severe weather by the Severe Storm Prediction Center. That's not very much. It's probably not going to happen, but we'll keep an eye on some of those stronger storms as they approach the coastline. That's where it would be, right along the immediate coast, for some possible gusty winds associated with some of those thunderstorm downdrafts. Southwest wind coming in at about 15 to 20, and then tonight increasing, so it's just going to be a breezy night, no doubt about it. Forecast looks like this. We'll go with a temperature of about 76 degrees today, 50% chance of around midnight showers, increasing to about 80% chance early on. First alert weather morning because of the interruptions that are possible to the commute tomorrow. Then after the front passes by, cooler temperatures in the forecast, lower 60s to mid 60s, nighttime lows in the 40s. Saturday we start to warm, but another shot, a good shot of rainfall on Sunday before we cool down again on Monday. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In consumer news, Amazon wants to be your next bank. The Wall Street Journal reporting the company is in talks with JP Morgan, Capital One, and other financial service firms to offer checking accounts for customers. Amazon branded checking would let customers pay for everything they already get from the site directly through their site-sponsored bank account. Amazon has recently ventured into other businesses, including shipping and medical care. Walmart is now going gourmet. The company will start selling prepared meal kits at stores across the country. The kits include pre-chopped and measured ingredients that let you cook meals at prices ranging from $8 to $15. Walmart says 10 different meals are now available in 250 stores, but will expand to 2,000 stores by the end of the year. And robots are not just for high-tech jobs anymore. They're now being designed to lend a hand in the kitchen. Flippy is a brand new burger flipping robot cooking at a chain called Caliburger in Pasadena, California. The robot uses thermal imaging, 3D, and camera vision to sense when to flip and remove the burgers. The robot learns through artificial intelligence, so the more burgers that Flippy flips, the smarter it becomes. But don't expect to see Flippy in any Suncoast fast food chains anytime soon because it costs about $60,000. Pretty cool nonetheless. We have a human, an actual chef in our kitchen today. Let's get say hello to John Ford from Jack Dusty at Ritz-Carlton, Sarasota. John, thanks for being with us again today. What's on your menu for today?
Good afternoon. Yeah, that last story kind of scares me a little bit, so I got to step up my game here. We are going to go ahead and say a fond farewell to our winter menu today with a lovely pumpkin squash risotto served actually inside of a pumpkin with a pumpkin granola and pumpkin puree. So definitely a fond farewell to our winter menu as we lead into spring.
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt will leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long gone.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you, too.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Caught on camera, terrifying moments at an airport in China. Take a look. Heavy winds and a torrential downpour caused parts of the airport's roof to collapse. Video captured the moment when large pieces of metal came crashing down, hitting vehicles parked outside the entrance to the airport's terminal. Amazingly, no one was hurt, and the terminal's main structure was reportedly unaffected, and flights continued as scheduled. A dashboard camera catches a city bus plowing into several parked vehicles in Ohio. The driver slammed into a parked car, causing a chain reaction that left 3 vehicles damaged. The first car knocked down street signs and then ended up on top of the vehicle in front of it. The third car involved was pushed further down the road. Fortunately, police say the cars were empty at the time, and witnesses say the bus driver appeared to be on the phone before that collision. Surveillance video catches police and firefighters teaming up to save a choking puppy in Massachusetts. You can see the couple rush into a police station with their 9-week-old St. Bernard named Bodie, who was choking on a piece of his lunch. A police officer jumped into action using a version of the Heimlich maneuver on Bodie. Meanwhile, members of the fire department who were stationed on the other side of the building rushed over with oxygen, which they applied with a special mask that's used on animals. Well, now, thanks to their quick thinking, Bodie is doing just fine and is very, very cute. Back to the kitchen now. John is with Chef John Ford from Jack Dusty at the Ritz-Carlton, Sarasota.
I am impressed by those police and fire departments.
How about that, huh?
That's pretty impressive. John, good to see you again.
Great to see you.
So you're winding down the winter menu and kind of thinking about bringing in the spring menu here in a few weeks.
Absolutely. I wanted to highlight kind of one of the last fun dishes that we had at Jack Dusty this season, but obviously it's time to say bon voyage to our winter menu as we roll into spring. So just a little last celebration here. I'll go ahead and get started. What we have here is our acorn squash. What we've done is we've cored it out, save that top, okay, and then snip off the bottom a little bit too so that you have something steady to set on the plate. And this is just a fun presentation we do, but it also allows for some good interactive eating, because as you put the risotto into the finished product and eat it, you can actually scrape off some of that acorn squash as you eat it, and it kind of adds a nice element to the dish.
So the squash is going to be cooked?
Absolutely. And so what we're doing here is we're putting a little olive oil inside.
Set that up here if you can.
Absolutely. Right there. A little olive oil inside, salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it nice and simple. And that way, you have a lovely, tasty acorn squash.
Onto your mini sheet pan.
That's right.
Right in the oven. How long do you give it? At what temperature?
350 for about 35 minutes, just
okay.
until it's soft, till the meat is soft and flesh is soft. Okay. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and chop some shallots and some garlic to base our risotto out.
Nice knife skills.
All right. Thank you. All right. And as you know, we want to have a little garlic and shallot in there just to give it some flavor. And what we want to do is just be careful not to cook it too hard, because we do not want it to caramelize. We just want to sweat it a little bit. And sweating means cooking to translucent without browning. This way
so
you get
lower heat at this time.
Absolutely.
Right.
This way you get the flavors of your components, but you're not actually getting that bitterness that sometimes those colors will bring out, and that high cooking technique will come out. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and just sweat these down a little bit. And now I use actually a plastic spatula for my risotto. It's a little bit blaspheme. I apologize. But it is more modern, and it really gets the edges quite well.
Got about a minute left.
Absolutely. So we're going to toast our risotto here. Now you want to toast that, get the flavor into the risotto rice.
Now normally when you sweat down those veggies, it would take you about how long to actually do it?
About 2.5 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
On about a medium heat. Okay. And we're going to toast off our rice here. Again, you want to let that go about 2 minutes on a medium to medium high heat. We're also going to season our rice. And now the key to risotto is adding your stock, or warm stock, gradually, and then stirring it. And what that does is that releases the starches. The friction of the stirring releases the starches into your stock. And then finally, what that does is that'll emulsify your fat with your stock at the end product. And so that's the key to it, is that constant stirring, okay? And what I actually have here is I have a finished product here. So obviously we've stirred this now for about 18 minutes.
So normally for people, okay, I was going to ask you, for folks who have never made it before, about
Absolutely.
18 minutes. And you're literally talking about continually stirring.
Yeah, you know, if you're really talented, you can step away for a minute and come back, and you know what you need to do, and you know where it needs to be. But you want to keep bringing it down gradually until there's almost nothing.
So we're basically running out of time here.
Yep.
Let's just...
So we have a little butter.
A little butter.
A little Parmesan, and we have our butternut squash.
Fantastic.
And we fold that in. You got to make sure you take that off the heat.
While you get that out of the oven, I'll remind folks that this recipe is on our website, mysuncoast.com. All of the video instructions are there, as well as the shopping list and the recipe itself. So, Jonathan, I'm guessing you're going to add them into the beautiful squash that you've just cooked.
Absolutely.
And the final product will look like that, served with microgreens. Go on over to Jack Dusty and get that before it disappears from the menu. It sure does look good. Chef, thank you very much.
Thanks again.
It's good to see you.
Terrific, you as well.
We'll be right back.
My name is Stefan Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured in a car accident, the state of Florida only gives you a specific amount of time to file a claim. So act now, give us a call.
Glasses and contacts. You need them to see, but they put such a strain on your life, you miss precious moments. Due to new advances in vision improvement technology, LASIK is now affordable for almost everyone, with procedures starting as low as $299 per eye and over 1 million procedures performed by our trusted independent surgeons. LASIK surgery is a sensible, safe, and affordable solution to improve your vision. Our simple 3-step process begins with a free evaluation, followed by an extensive preoperative exam to determine if you're a candidate for LASIK eye surgery. Depending on the results of your evaluation and eye exam, you and your surgeon will choose the LASIK option that works best for you. So call now to talk to a LASIK Vision Institute counselor and schedule your free evaluation. That's a $100 value, free. Call the LASIK Vision Institute for your free evaluation and enjoy more of your life.
Call 1-800-813-0109. 1-800-813-0109.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC 7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
My name is Blake. I received a heart transplant when I was 2 weeks old. I play defense for the Red Hot Tornadoes. Sometimes my heart starts pounding like faster and faster as I go. I know I have someone else's heart inside me. It makes me feel happy because someone was generous enough to give me a second chance to live.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now, before it's too late.
I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
Coming up, why President Trump continues to push back on reports of chaos in the White House. Plus, why North Korean leaders now say they're ready to talk to the U.S. about possibly ending their nuclear program. And how a teacher strike in West Virginia led to their first pay raise in nearly 4 years.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story this half hour. President Trump is pushing back on the idea there's chaos in the White House, but says there are current staff members on thin ice. This follows a week of negative headlines and a major rant by a former Trump staffer. ABC's Lana Zak has more from Washington.
There's a sizable list of officials whose future with the Trump administration has been the source of speculation, including Attorney General Jeff Sessions, Special Advisor Jared Kushner, and National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, to name a few of the roughly dozen people discussed as possible staff shakeups. And President Trump says outright today that there may be personnel changes coming, though he denies the portrayal of a presidency in turmoil, tweeting, "The new fake news narrative is that there is chaos in the White House. Wrong." The president going on to say, "I still have some people that I want to change." Meanwhile, one former Trump advisor isn't holding his fire when it comes to criticizing the president.
Donald Trump caused this because he's an idiot.
Sam Nunberg, who was fired in 2015, voiced frustration over the special counsel investigation and lobbed bombshell accusations about what then-candidate Trump knew about that 2016 Trump Tower meeting between his son and a Russian lawyer.
I don't know why he went around trying to hide it. And he shouldn't have.
Nunberg didn't back up those claims, which the White House has denied. But now the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee says he wants to question Nunberg.
Certainly, if Mr. Nunberg has light to shed on what the president knew before that Trump Tower meeting, we'd be interested in finding out.
After spending much of the day saying he intended to defy the grand jury's subpoena, Nunberg now says he will likely cooperate with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Lana Zak, ABC News, Washington.
North Korea is reportedly ready to talk to the U.S. about giving up its nuclear weapons. According to South Korean officials, Kim Jong-un also told a high-level delegation he will halt nuclear and missile tests while in talks with South Korea. Seoul's national security chief said North Korea says it has no reason to retain nuclear weapons if, quote, the military threat of North Korea is resolved. The two Korean leaders are expected to hold a summit next month, the first of its kind in more than a decade. President Trump tweeting earlier today saying the U.S. is prepared for action whether or not the summit is successful. Back in the United States, new developments in West Virginia's teacher strike. Educators are expected to end the 9-day strike after reaching a deal to raise teachers' pay by 5%. Governor Jim Justice says the deal was hammered out and that additional cuts have to be made to give teachers the full 5% they were asking for. Schools are expected to open back up over the next 2 days. West Virginia has some of the lowest paid teachers in the nation, and this will be their first salary increase in nearly 4 years. Meanwhile, teachers in Oklahoma are threatening to host a walkout of their own. They're lobbying state lawmakers for pay increases. The Oklahoma Education Association is set to announce a statewide school closure this week.
The opportunity to solve the problem before it comes to that.
They need to fund education and our core services, and they need to do it now.
Oklahoma's Education Association conducted a survey and says nearly 80% of respondents support a statewide school closure. And happening today here on the Suncoast, a big decision involving Sarasota County teachers. After months of negotiations, the school board is set to vote on a 2-year salary contract. The district and union reached an agreement in early February. If it's approved today, teachers will have merit-based pay instead of a step salary schedule. Depending on their ratings, pay increases would vary between 3.75% and 4.25%. We'll have more on the vote coming up in our evening newscast beginning at 5 o'clock. Northport's Lamarck Elementary School getting a new principal. Troy Thompson is set to start there in April. Right now, Thompson is the assistant principal at Booker Elementary School. Thompson is no stranger to Lamarck Elementary. He served as assistant principal there from 2013 to 2016. Lamarck's current acting principal, Sandra Russ, will remain in that position through the end of the month. Happening right now, this year's midterm elections have officially kicked off across the country with the Texas primaries. Democrats are running in all of Texas's 36 congressional districts for the first time in 25 years, and they are showing early signs of being competitive in this deep red state. Candidates must top 50% in their primary, or the top 2 finishers will head to a runoff election in 6 weeks. Incumbent Republican Senator Ted Cruz and Democratic Representative Beto O'Rourke are likely to win their respective primaries. A second nor'easter storm is targeting areas that are still recovering from last weekend's big storm, and some areas will start to feel the impact of this new storm as early as tomorrow. 33 million people from East Pennsylvania to Maine are under a winter storm watch. This is an area that's still recovering from that storm just 4 days ago that caused major power outages and killed at least 9 people.
Meetings today, we're talking about the next storm coming. The tough part, again, is many people we can get back to a sense of normalcy, the better.
Now it's a race to clean up before the next storm hits and causes more damage. Check out this startling sight on a British beach. Thousands of dead starfish washed up on a beach following what's being called the Beast from the East weather snap. A wildlife enthusiast photographed the scene in Ramsgate. She estimates hundreds of thousands of starfish and other sea life washed ashore this weekend following a spell of sub-zero temperatures there. She also says there were fish and sea urchins in the piles. Wow. Well, here on the Suncoast, a much brighter sight on Siesta Key this morning, all in the name of charity. Mascots from local groups like the Bradenton Marauders and Cat Depot raced a short stretch of beach to promote Mote Marine Lab's upcoming 32nd annual Run for the Turtles. That happens next month. The 5K and mile runs will raise support for Mote's Sea Turtle Conservation and Research Program, which protects endangered turtles along 35 miles of Sarasota County beaches.
We monitor from May 1st through October 31st for sea turtle nests along our local beaches, and this is the money that we're going to be able to use to fund that program.
The 2018 Run for the Turtles will take place April 7th on Siesta Key, with the mile run starting at 7:30 ahead of the 5K start time at 8 a.m. John, look at that scene on the beach this morning.
It was gorgeous.
That was the place to be.
Yeah, you know that's true.
Yeah.
Now, I hate to ask you this question right off the bat. Do you know if they've ever done that before with all the mascots?
I think they have.
Have they?
Yeah.
I have never seen that. I think that's hysterical.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's a neat way to kick it off.
It really is.
People sign up.
But you're right, the beach absolutely gorgeous today, full sunshine, hardly a cloud in the sky anywhere. But that's going to change as we head into tonight. Marginal risk for severe weather exists across the Suncoast's coastline for tomorrow morning, particularly as some stronger storms may move onshore. But right now, looking out over Gulf waters with the Sarasota Bay webcam, which is the direction that the clouds would be building later in the afternoon, or later in the evening, I should say. It looks great. A lot of blue sky out there. In fact, absolutely spectacular weather for the remainder of the afternoon, I think. 71 degrees in Sarasota, 74 degrees in Bradenton. And temperatures are pretty representative of what they are elsewhere across the Suncoast. No rain yet, but look back to the west. A lot of rain showers out there extending into central Gulf waters. All of that headed our way. We'll detail the forecast for you coming up in a few, Scott.
Okay, John, thank you. A woman says she was attacked by a gunman on I-95 near Fort Lauderdale, and police are now on the hunt for that suspect. The woman says it was an unprovoked attack when someone in a maroon SUV just drove up and opened fire. Her boyfriend and 6-year-old stepson were in the car, but fortunately no one was hurt. Her Kia collided with another car after the shooting, but that maroon SUV sped off.
I don't know why I would be targeted. I'm not nobody for me to be a target. You know, I'm not special enough.
We have a statewide bolo out on the vehicle, and there's no other additional information that we do have. Like I said, everything is still under an investigation.
The 6-year-old was taken to the hospital before being cleared and released. Here in the Suncoast, new details on a fire that destroyed a recently renovated boardwalk in Venice. The city recently spent nearly $350,000 renovating the boardwalk at the Beachfront Service Club Park. According to the Venice Fire Marshal, someone had an illegal campfire going on Saturday night. The wind caused the blaze to spread, and then the fire destroyed about 70 feet of the boardwalk and 2 picnic shelters.
We are currently assessing that situation and talking with our risk management department to see if this falls under our insurance claim policy or if this is something that will have to come out of the same one-cent sales tax fund.
It's not clear if anyone has been charged with starting that fire yet, but the park will remain closed for the time being. 2 sailors are now safe after a dramatic rescue off Turtle Beach. Video shows Sarasota County Air 1 and Marine units saving those sailors Saturday afternoon. The Sheriff's Office received a call around 5 p.m. about the struggling men in the Gulf. Rescuers found them and their capsized boat about 2 miles offshore. They pulled both of them on board using safety lines. They are both fine. Happening today, Sarasota County is hoping to hire dozens of new employees. The county is hosting a job fair today at Philippi Creek Estate Park. The county is hiring in a range of positions, including administrative support, building plans examiners, engineers, management, and interns. The job fair will run from 3 o'clock to 6:30 this afternoon. And starting today, the Circus Arts Conservatory is offering new trapeze classes for Big Top fans of all ages. They say the class is perfect for both adults and children. They'll offer these classes on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Classes will be held outside the Big Top behind the mall at UTC while the Sailor Circus Arena undergoes some renovations. Classes will start at $50. They're also offering a quicker pay per swing experience in the afternoons for just $20. Looks like fun. Still to come in your Suncoast News, Stephanie Webb catches up with Dancing with the Stars star Julianne Hough when we come back.
I just had a very educational ride with Nina.
Did you learn anything?
Where do I begin? So all this stuff goes into a safety check.
Yep.
It's a long list.
It's important stuff.
Test the smoke detector.
Yep.
Check the breaker box.
Yep.
Meter the GFCIs.
Ground fault circuit interrupters.
Well, I knew that.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Nina, you make it look easy.
Thanks, but don't do it yourself.
Who's your guy?
Being the caregiver for someone you love is truly a blessing. But sometimes you can lose a part of yourself. To be your best, for them and for you, it's important to have time to be able to recharge your batteries. When you call Tidewell Hospice, they can give you a chance to do just that. And with the peace of mind of knowing your loved one is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Alex Karras Lincoln's 40th anniversary sale. Please join us in welcoming the 2 newest additions to the Lincoln lineup, our flagship luxury sedan, the 2018 Lincoln Continental, and the totally redesigned 2018 Lincoln Navigator, featuring 450 horsepower, 10-speed transmission, and many best-in-class features. Alex Karras Lincoln, where our mission statement is consistent commitment, every client, every time. Located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
I'll be right back.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 5. Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we've got 71 degrees as the air temperature outside and a dew point value on the rise at 54 now, but the southwest wind will continue to make that dew point get higher and higher. And as that little plume of moisture rides across the coastline, it leads to the instability in the atmosphere. Add that to some twisting winds with height in some of the thunderstorms that will be approaching the area, and there's a marginal risk for some severe weather right along the immediate coast. We'll watch the temperatures continue to climb to the mid-70s today, and maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two that develop during the evening hours, or perhaps more likely showers. But then thunderstorms during the overnight certainly possible, especially after midnight as these showers move on shore. Some of them could contain some gusty winds. The Severe Storms Prediction Center puts us in that marginal risk. As the showers move on shore by around 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll start to watch them sink further and further south, and by 10 o'clock I think the threat will be mostly gone. A lot of cloud cover building in the second half of the day. These showers and thunderstorms advancing as the front does as well. The front sinks south of the area. Winds will shift, and we'll be left with some pleasant weather, I think, as we head into the next couple of days, but certainly cooler weather. Southwest wind is going to be breezy, even windy overnight tonight, so boaters, don't be caught by surprise. We'll look for temperatures today that top out around 76 with about a 50% chance of after midnight showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two. And again, a marginal risk right along the coastline for some gusty winds contained in some of these storms. There's about a 5% chance of some of these gusty winds coming through, especially tomorrow morning. And there's about a 2% chance of a very brief, isolated, weak tornado. So 98% chance that won't happen. So it's a very small chance. 70-degree temperature tomorrow. We'll call it a first alert weather day in the morning. And then as we head into the next couple of days, it'll be cooler, certainly. Sunday, another good chance of rainfall, and temperatures on Monday slightly cooler. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In HealthSmart, Governor Scott recently recognized March as Endometriosis Awareness Month in Florida. The condition affects more than 200,000 women across the country every year, but doctors fear other women are going undiagnosed. ABC 7's Stephanie Webb spoke with a special guest to talk more about this disorder. Stephanie?
Thanks. It's an issue that can be tough for some women to talk about. It is endometriosis, and it affects 1 in 10 women. And this month is the time to talk about it. Joining us today is a familiar face, Julianne Hough, pro dancer turned judge on Dancing with the Stars and Emmy Award-winning choreographer, as well as OBGYN Dr. Rebecca Brightman. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Now, one of the things that I know, especially when it comes to something like this, it can be hard to talk about, but I'll start with you, Julianne. You were diagnosed with this back in 2008?
That's right. And absolutely, I think it can be hard because sometimes you don't even realize you have endometriosis. And I definitely was having symptoms and pain more than just your average period. But because at the time, I just thought that's what it was to be a woman, I didn't speak up, and I felt like this is just normal. I think this is just what it's like. But eventually, like you said, in 2008, I was able to get a proper diagnosis that I had endometriosis. And it has been very, very empowering to be able to put a name to the pain and have a voice. You know, I think the most important thing is that I have a responsibility to use my platform to impact other women, and this is something that I feel like, you know, other women need to know they're not alone.
I like that. Now, Dr. Brightman, let's jump over to you for a moment. What are some of the main symptoms that women come to you with? Like, what are they seeing?
So the most common symptoms are really very, very debilitating, painful periods, sometimes pain during sex, sometimes pain during urination or having bowel movements, and pain that can occur throughout the course of one's month. And it's really important that women sort of not overlook these symptoms as just being part of being a woman, because actually, if they're really debilitating, they may be indicative of endometriosis. So a woman needs to raise her concerns with her healthcare provider.
Now, is there a cure for it, or are there simply treatments at this point?
So there isn't a cure for endometriosis, but there are some excellent treatments that exist. However, the treatments really need to be individualized. It's not a one-size-fits-all type of thing, and that's why women really need to be made aware of the disease of endometriosis, whether or not they have it or they think they may have it, and then addressing their concerns with their physicians so that they can be appropriately treated.
Now, Julianne, back over to you for a minute. There is a campaign, Speak Endo. Why did you want to be a part of this, and what's it about?
Absolutely. The campaign is basically getting educated about endometriosis. So speakendo.com is the website that we can go to learn more about endometriosis, what endometriosis is it symptoms that I have or that you have. We did a campaign last year about awareness and bringing awareness to what it is, but this is all about learning. And so you can also use the hashtag speakendo and share your own stories, share your own videos, just build that community, and just, you know, be a supporter of women out there, whether you're a woman or you're a man.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, ladies. Thanks for spending some time with us this morning and to passing on the good information.
Still to come in your Suncoast News, a man is arrested after stealing an Oscar and then posting a video about it on social media. The bizarre story when we come back.
Rugs as Art. You know the name, you know the building. But do you know what's inside? Yes, Rugs as Art is Florida's #1 area rug superstore. But there is so much more. Amazing furniture, accessories, and art. All this and more. Come see for yourself. You'll love our personal touch and be pleasantly surprised by our affordable prices. Rugs as Art and more. There is so much more to explore.
Loaded with big laughs, colorful characters, and the songs that made the 20s roar, Bullets Over Broadway is bringing musical theater back with a bang. Your attendance is requested at the Players Center for this wild Broadway musical opening February 21st. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit the website at theplayers.org. This is one Broadway show that is sure to knock 'em dead.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. Spring break is here, and that means even more drivers are on the Suncoast.
We're going to tell you how the Florida Highway Patrol is working to educate drivers on hit-and-run accidents tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
We continue to watch an area of low pressure advance toward the state, perhaps triggering off some stronger storms. We'll discuss that bright and early tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
In entertainment news, an Oscar heist at the Governor's Ball, where Frances McDormand, fresh off her Best Actress win, set the Oscar down on the ground when a man allegedly swiped it and then posted a video online claiming it was his own. ABC's Amy Robach has the story.
It was an ending only Hollywood could write.
Just hours later, Frances McDormand's Oscar for Best Actress in a Leading Role, not in her hands, but with this man.
Look at baby. My team got this tonight.
That's 47-year-old Terry Bryant in a Facebook Live video accepting congratulations.
Congratulations! Thank you.
Letting odd partygoers pose.
It's so heavy, isn't it? Hello, look, this is the real deal.
What do you want, a photo?
And ready to head to the next party.
Where's the Jimmy Kimmel party at?
According to his social media page, Bryant, an aspiring DJ, is no stranger to appearing on the red carpet next to celebrities like Beyonce, Paris Hilton, Jimmy Kimmel.
After the guy snatched it, he did the smart thing. He immediately made a video of himself and posted it on Facebook.
And on Oscar Sunday, he was there at the Governor's Ball, where celebrated chef Wolfgang Puck cooks, and winners have their golden statues engraved with their names. At 10:05 p.m., McDormand's Oscar, worth up to $500,000, is being engraved. Then at 10:35 p.m., the first report surfaced that McDormand's Oscar is missing.
I left my Oscar.
The Oscar winner reportedly not yet too worried. Shortly after, Bryant begins streaming that Facebook Live video with his reportedly stolen golden treasure.
Governor's Ball, baby.
Bryant apparently bragging to partygoers he won the Oscar for Best Producer and for music.
Academy Awards, baby, for music.
By 11:50 p.m., Bryant is leaving Governor's Ball with Oscar.
We did it. We did it.
Shortly after, he's arrested for grand theft by the LAPD. According to his rap sheet, not his first brush with the law. An Academy official gave McDormand's missing Oscar back to Best Actor winner Gary Oldman, who is pictured holding both statues. The Academy telling ABC News in a statement that McDormand and her Oscar were happily reunited after a brief separation.
Oldman says he couldn't find McDormand at the Governor's Ball, but he did give it back to the same Academy official who later then found McDormand to make the reunion official.
And apparently by the time the guy snatched it, her name was engraved on it. So.
Yes, already.
Yeah.
And he claimed that part up.
And he claimed he won it for Best Producer, and there's no category for Best Producer. So, oh well. Yeah. Bob will be in at 5 with the latest on this storm system approaching, and of course the threat of severe weather for the Suncoast.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks for joining us. See you later.